A young man entered the gate of the monastery and walked straight toward the monk, who was sitting on a bench on a cliff, surrounded by mist and the sound of a distant waterfall. He seemed to know the monk. His voice trembling, the young man said, "Master, I've come here because I don't know where else to go. My mind is in chaos. No matter what I do, I can't seem to make the right decisions. Everything feels so noisy, like my thoughts are shouting over each other." The monk gestured for him to sit. "My friend, you've been carrying the weight of your thoughts for too long. Tell me, when was the last time you truly sat in silence?" the monk asked. Disheartened, the young man replied, "Silence. I don't think I've ever truly been silent. Even when I'm alone, my mind is a battlefield." The monk nodded knowingly and said, "Then it's time you hear a story. Many years ago, there was a painter named Hiro. Hiro was renowned for his vibrant paintings, each filled with intricate details and vivid colors. People traveled from far and wide to see his art, yet Hiro himself felt deeply unsatisfied. No matter how much praise he received, he believed his work lacked something he couldn't define. Leaning forward, the young man asked, "What was missing?" Smiling faintly, the monk continued, "That's what Hiro wanted to discover." One day, frustrated and lost, he visited an old temple in the mountains and sought the wisdom of the abbot, the head of the monastery there. "The problem," Hiro told the abbot, "is that I feel disconnected from my art. I paint what people expect to see, but not what I truly feel." The abbot listened carefully and then handed Hiro a blank canvas and some paints. He said, "Spend the next 7 days here, in silence. Do not speak, do not paint, just sit and observe the world around you." The young man, listening to the story, frowned and said, 7 days of silence? That must have been unbearable." The monk carried on. At first, it was. Hiro found it maddening. He was used to constant movement, noise, and activity. The silence felt oppressive, like an empty void. But as the days passed, something began to shift. He started noticing the small things he had overlooked for years: the way the sunlight filtered through the leaves, the rhythm of the wind, the sound of his own breathing. By the 7th day, Hiro felt a profound stillness within him. He picked up the brush and, without thinking, began to paint. When he finally showed the abbot his work, the abbot smiled and said, "Now, you have painted not with your mind, but with your soul." The silence had helped him find clarity. Silence is not an emptiness to be feared, but a space to be embraced. It allows the noise of the world and the chaos of the mind to settle, revealing what lies beneath. The young man asked, seeking an answer, "But Master, what if my thoughts are too loud to begin with? How can I even start to find silence?" The monk picked up a small stone and tossed it into a nearby pond. "Watch the ripples," he said. "The water is disturbed at first, but then it calms, becoming clear enough to reflect the sky. Silence is much the same. When you sit with your thoughts, they will initially thrash about. But if you simply let them be without judgment, they will settle, and clarity will emerge." Many people have never thought of silence that way. They always saw it as nothingness. "That's a common misunderstanding," the monk replied. "Silence is not the absence of sound, but the presence of awareness. In silence, you can hear the softest whispers of your intuition, the truths that are often drowned out by the clamor of daily life." The young man nodded slowly and asked his last question. "So, by embracing silence, I can find the answers I've been searching for?" Smiling, the master replied, "Not all answers, but the ones that truly matter. And often, you'll find that what you thought were questions are no longer important."